This episode is brought to you by Only the Real Entertainment and Media Den Productions.
To Livingston, to Jordan. Timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry! With 0.6 of a second remaining.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Real Line back again. Real Hoops. How you feeling, Cam? How you living, dog?
I'm good. We're one win away. The Panthers are one win away from a Stanley Cup Finals. I just cannot wait. I know it's going to be so swole during the parade. I just need them to keep their foot on the gas because the Oilers are really good. And so I need them to really close this one out really well. We're going into the second period as we're recording right now. It is 2-zip. Hopefully they can push it to 3-zip. And then 4-zip and 5-zip. I need belt to ass vigorously so that we can just settle this right now. This is a back-to-back. Actually, this is a 3-peat championship appearance. Mm-hmm. And we're also seeing a potential back-to-back championship run from the Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
And this is also a rematch to last Stanley Cup Finals because they beat the Oilers in 7 last game and it was amazing. Yeah. So let's close it out in 6, man. I'm feeling great. What about you?
I'm feeling good. I just know I might be intoxicated when we go. You know what I mean? Whenever we go, me and Quest. You know what I'm saying? When we get this parade in, and it's gonna be up. I'm vibing.
Yeah, you already know how time it is. Hey, let's get into the NBA, right? We're just going to get this out of the way. Desmond Bane to the Magic. What you think?
What, the matchups, the finals?
Just Desmond Bane getting traded to the Magic recently.
Oh, okay.
And let's look at the
actual
trade parameters,
yeah, I was
right?
just tell you to pull it up.
Because, they're considering the trade to be a blockbuster trade. So you have Desmond Bane getting traded from the Memphis Grizzlies to the Orlando Magic for KCP, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, 4 unprotected first-round picks, and 1 first-round pick swap. What are you thinking?
That'll ruin the market. Hey, Desmond Bane ain't no bum. Desmond Bane is a sniper. He can score. He was their third best player, sometimes second. As far as the Memphis Grizzlies, 4 unprotected is OD. But I mean, I guess I get it. KCP didn't have a great year. And they're kind of looking to match up in terms of the youth movement that they have down here. And Desmond Bane has been part of some, decent, fair playoff games. So he's bringing that to the equation. You add that to Paulo, you add that to the Franz brothers. Jaden Schultz is going to come back from, his injury. I think they'll be well. But 4 unprotected, I think, is kind of OD for Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane could get you 18 to possibly 20. 4 unprotected is crazy. But,
Do you think that this is the win now piece that Orlando was talking about, or at least the reports that was coming out about Orlando, talking about they want to have a win now piece before going into next season?
I mean, Boston is coming injured, right? I don't know if Indy's going to be back. I'm pretty sure they'll be in the mixed. But who else? You look around in the East and say who else is making or having you shaking your boots. Is it the Knicks? The coachless Knicks who's been calling around and getting curve? Who is it that's scaring you if you're the Orlando Magic? I think this puts them in solid position. It's not going to make me run to say, hey, the Orlando Magic are the definitive favorites, but it puts them in decent position, top 4, top 5 seed. I just think they'll be another piece away, in my opinion.
What piece do they need? What's that piece?
A big.
A big?
Who is their big?
I mean, they already got the Wagner brothers.
You living with Batista as your big?
Nah, I think that Goga is going to be out of there, but you still got Jonathan Isaac, you still got Wendell Carter Jr., you still got the Wagner brothers.
What did Kendrick Lamar say on TV off?
What's that?
It's not enough.
Really?
It's not enough. No.
You don't think in this day and age that's not enough?
It's not enough.
So who do they need at center?
Somebody that's going to give them rim protection, somebody that's going to give them shooting and rebounding. I don't know who that is, but they need to find it ASAP.
So, because obviously they have more assets to give out now, and it's clear that they're pushing the button. But give me one name that you think that would fit with Orlando that goes along with what you're saying right now, because that's kind of crazy.
I'll have to probably think about that.
Well, what's the archetype of center that you're talking about?
Somebody like Miles Turner. Block shots, rebound. Well, his rebounding is not look so well, but block shots, shoot the ball, and you know what I mean, make guys think twice in the paint, but still be able to switch out.
But they still got that though.
Who?
In the Wagner brothers, and even in Jonathan Isaac. Jonathan Isaac is a menace at rim protection.
Okay, is he a 5?
Yeah.
Jonathan Isaac is a great defender. If I am conducting,
well, he plays.
defense,
He plays the 5. He can play the 5.
He's not
they
a full-time
switch him around.
5.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of dudes that are not full-time 5s nowadays either.
I hear you, Jonathan Isaac. Man, listen, I see Jonathan Isaac about to take a jumper. I'm about to be like, yeah, that's what I'm about to do.
Jonathan, are you crazy? Jonathan Isaac is swatting.
No.
What?
I'm saying when you shoot the basketball, I'm looking at the rim.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm looking at the rim.
but Jonathan Isaac. I mean, let's look at Jonathan Isaac's stats right quick, man, because that's kind of crazy. I would like to think that Jonathan Isaac can at least hit a little midi, if anything. I'm not saying that he needs to be a.
I'm not saying he needs to be a sharp. I'm just saying he needs to not be a look that way. We need to get you on the Lou Dort vibe. I remember they used to do Lou Dort like that. You can't do that no more.
Yeah, that's
She'll
a fact.
snipe your face off.
Yeah, now he's sniping now. I don't know where that came from.
Hey, man, shout out to his trainer, whoever that is. Same thing with Aaron Gordon. We used to, you know what I'm saying? Let that go.
Yeah, that is true.
And then
That's true.
You know what I mean? He could lock in. I'm not saying. I'm saying as of right now, yeah, he getting the wave off. If I'm, you know what I mean?
I mean, you might be right, man, because I'm looking at his 3-point percentage, just looking at like 26% at 3.
His career is 32.
Yeah,
That's not the long... bro, listen, I understand what you mean. Defensively, I think he's phenomenal. I think he could guard all 5. He's one of the rare that could do it in the league. But if he gets to a net negative on offense, you're kind of limited to what you can do with the Wagner brothers because you're not able to hedge a lot more where Paolo likes to operate, which is the elbow area, the high post area. If you watch Orlando's offense, which kind of is going to take away from him, and he's not an exceptional shooter himself from deep yet. So it's just, I don't know, bro. I don't know who that would be. But yeah, I think that's the piece that they need. If not,
I mean, I guess Miles Turner would be a good name. Miles Turner would be a good name. But the thing about Miles Turner, obviously, you know, we've seen reports of Indiana talking about, well, people reporting that Indiana is saying that they're willing to go into the luxury tax, which I believe it. I mean, they're in the finals, so I would like to think that they want to retain as much as the team as possible.
Yeah.
But I can see where you're going at. Maybe
Miles Turner's not too old either.
I
think Miles Turner's like, what, 28, 29?
Yeah, something like that. The oldest 30, maybe.
Yeah. I think he'll get the solid fit. Somebody like that.
Yeah. Did you see what Josh said about the media, specifically Stephen A. Smith, how Stephen A. Smith just replied and everything?
Yeah, who was discussing that in the chat?
Oh yeah, we were. What you think about that? Just to let everybody know, John Morant got on Twitter, or X if you want to call it, and said that pretty much the media should be focusing on the finals, but instead of focusing on the finals, they're focusing on the Grizzlies and everything that's going on with the Desmond Bane trade, Ja and JJJ potentially getting extended, potentially not getting extended, all this type of stuff. And then Stephen A retorted. So, what you think about it? I can look up the tweets right now and read the tweets, but what you think?
While you do that, Stephen A, you gotta stop this, bro. I'm pleading with you as a journalist. I'm pleading with you. Please stop this. Bro, first of all, you out here playing solitaire instead of watching the game. That's one. Two, then you said Antetokounmpo is underachieving as a 2-time MVP, Finals MVP deep boy because he won one chip. Then you go on to say, if people don't like you, my bad, I'm getting a call. Let me go on D&D. If people don't like what you got to say, please walk up to him and come on, bro. You're 50-something. Please act like it. And dare I say that beautiful contract that you have, it got you acting out of body? I mean, it probably would for me, too. At 20-something or 30-something, but at 50-something, I don't know if I'd be out of body like that. We get it. You draw attention. But you got to stop this, bro. You got to stop acting tough. You got to stop trying to go at players, thinking that you're bigger than players. And then he goes at Haliburton, and Haliburton responds in the media, and then he's like, "Oh, bro, you just focused on winning the chip." And come on, bro. Like you sounding crazy right now, bro.
Well, let's read over these tweets, right? Ja said, talking about the Grizz more than the finals,
Facts.
laughing emoji with these Kappa sources. And then he
Facts.
said, instead of focusing on the performances we seen from J-Dub/Shea, TJ/Siakam, how this series is going, we say something negative about a city/team on a national level.
Facts.
Stephen A. Smith caught wind of it. And he says, so this is what we're doing now at John Morant. I recall talking about the finals, but the Memphis Grizzlies made news because of Bane getting traded. And, gotta open that up, and your possible extension coming up. Would you prefer I go into detail about WTH, so what the hell has been going on in Memphis? Why players have stated they're not interested in going? Or even more details? Or would you like me to leave well enough alone and let the great peeps of Memphis address it on their own? Your call. I'm all ears. So yeah, that's what Stephen A. Smith said in response to Ja. I mean, you don't like that, do you?
No, because then you're taking a crap on Memphis as a city, low-key. Memphis does have an issue. Their murder rate is amongst the highest. I want to say it's top 5. I could be wrong, but it's some of the highest in the nation. But you have to understand, one, you're making millions in basketball, bro. Like, people on the street will leave you alone. And there, I want to be very clear, Cam, you can state to this, because you're even more well-traveled than me. Every major city in the NBA has a hood. It just is what it is. There's nothing that you can do to avoid it. That's not something that I would ever report on my platform because it wouldn't matter. And that's where I feel like we're losing the plot. We're making things personal. We're talking about players' personal lives, and we're trying to become bigger than the sport we're covering or bigger than what we should be doing, which is reporting on the game. You know, reporting what we're seeing, reporting on basketball things, reporting on X's and O's. The minute you cross over into trying to get into Ja's personal life or get into looking at Memphis as a city, then you essentially are messing with an entire city's economy. Because what if Adam Silver, because you have such a platform, is starting to look at, hey, let's try to move this to another place. Seattle? Let's go back to Seattle. You have the potential for them to start looking at moving to other cities, and they've already stated that they want to expand. We've seen, Vancouver move to Memphis. We've seen it already, so it's possible. You're opening that entire city to having that be a possibility, and I don't think it's fair to the city. I don't think it's fair to Ja. And, bro, you're 50-something, bro. Like, you trying to go at players individually because you think that they might have slighted you is I ain't gonna shame them, but it's not manly activity. Let's just say that. That's not something I would do. Even me, I'm much younger than him. That's not something I would sit around and do.
I feel that. Hey, let's head into the finals, right?
Yes, sir.
We don't even want to keep the listeners for long. So, Game 4, man. We're off to Game 5. Okay? Off to Game 5, OKC. But Game 4 is pretty significant. How did Game 4 flip the momentum in the Thunder's favor, in your opinion?
The fourth quarter, there was a ton of missed calls, in my opinion. I'm not one of those guys that likes to lean on, the refs gave them this game. But from what I saw, the amount of missed calls, the amount of inconsistencies that I saw was troubling. And there's an individual on there, which I will not say, who's had some troubling ties. It was very curious. I'm watching Lou Dort two-hand push Tyrese Haliburton in order to get a steal. I'm watching Shea push off, take 2 extra steps, pull up, and nothing is called. I'm watching Nesmith guard him with everything he had, plays him for the up and under, barely touches Shea, and it gets called a foul, and he fouls out. I'm watching Chet do a spin right into Nesmith, and there's nothing that he can do to adjust his hands, and it gets called. And it just it swung it in their favor, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Game 4 in particular, you could say that the Pacers quote unquote choked. I just think the calls weren't very favorable for them, and that was a pivotal. That's the difference between being 2-2 or being up 3-1. Holly's hurt now. I think the series is over, but I think Game 4 was the pivotal game in the entire series, in my opinion.
Speaking of the injury, how does his calf injury affect the outcome of the Pacers? I mean, you saying they're cooked, but break that down.
I love TJ McConnell. Do I trust in his shape to play 30 minutes? Potentially 40, because who do they have besides TJ McConnell to come back him up at the point guard position? Are you going to trust Nembhard to, conduct the offense, which he can? He has enough handle to do so, but you're asking him to play out of character. That's kind of tough for him to do. Without Holly, it's, at that point guard position, outside of, TJ McConnell, they have nobody. I don't know if I trust. Not to say his ability isn't awesome, because if you go through my Twitter, you'll see how high I am on TJ McConnell. I just don't know if he's going to be able to sustain the 40 minutes with his play style in particular, and get it back to OKC. It's going to be tough to push it for a Game 7, and even in Game 7. I don't know if, his body is going to hold up in particular. Now, other guys could come in and kind of change that narrative in terms of, guys like Mathurin, who didn't have a good Game 4 at all. Guys like Miles Turner, who didn't also have a good game. I think they could come in and turn that around, but it's going to be less than likely because they're not able to kind of key in on those guys without having Holly out there in terms of their offense. So that's why I think they're cooked.
So, OKC in 6?
Like I said in the beginning, unfortunately, yeah. Sometimes I hate when I'm right, but I think I'm going to be right.
What is it going to take for them to push it to Game 7?
McConnell's going to have to lock in for 4 quarters. McConnell's going to have to lock in. Mathurin can't play the way he played in Game 4. Miles Turner is going to have to be a lot more active. I think those 3 things would allow everything to be in their favor. If we keep everything as is, Siakam keeps his play style and play. Nembhard, I'm sure he'll figure it out. Nesmith will figure it out as well. I think just those 3 would be able to push that to a Game 7, just making timely baskets, not all the baskets, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I guess it just all depends on the MRI results for Haliburton, but I'm
didn't
seeing
look good.
even with the MRI's results, you're looking at around like a week or two of healing time, or at least comfortability. I mean, listen, that game 4, he was clearly hurt, but most importantly, what looked very significant to me is that, and I still, till this day, I literally woke up this morning thinking about this. Rick Carlisle went with Thomas Bryant since the Eastern Conference Finals.
And then he puts in Tony Bradley.
He puts in Tony Bradley, who hasn't played all playoffs. And it was a relay race to the rim. It was a relay race. I truly don't understand that move. Like, don't get me wrong, right? Thomas Bryant, to me, and I always describe Thomas Bryant like this. Thomas Bryant isn't an air threat, right? He's not going to jump with you like that. You know, he's not going to really deter anything at the rim like that. He, every now and then, he'll have his, like, monster block or something like that. You know what I mean? Or he'll dunk on somebody. But he's not a crazy athlete where he's leaping 60,000 feet in the air to thwart something or to block something or whatever. But and keep in mind, there's a lot of other great centers, like good to great centers that we have seen in the league that plays right now that aren't the same way. Whether it's Joker, whether it's Sabonis, the list goes on. But if there's one thing that Thomas Bryant is going to do, that is one, keep intensity high.
Facts.
At least for himself.
Facts.
He's going to run the floor hard as hell every possession.
Facts.
He's going to defend to the best of his ability. Not saying he's a stopper, truthfully. For his position, he's kind of a cone. But he can stay in front of a body. He's not going to necessarily stop nothing like that, but he can move his feet a little bit. But he's going to bring that intensity in transition, intensity in defense, on the defense, as well as intensity on O. But the biggest thing that Thomas Bryant can also do is he can shoot.
Facts.
And so when you're putting Tony Bradley in the game, now the whole offense has to play totally different.
Facts.
And we're talking about somebody who hasn't played the entire playoffs. So now that chemistry is totally off.
Facts.
Ain't nobody going to be throwing lobs to Tony Bradley.
No.
Ain't nobody giving Tony Bradley any entry passes so he could do what he got to do.
No.
Ain't nobody hitting Tony Bradley in a pick and roll situation, dog.
No.
No matter how many times Tony Bradley is going to roll to the basket, he's not getting the ball.
That's a fact.
And if Tony Bradley decides to leak out to the three-point line, guess what it's going to be? 4-on-5 every time. Because they know you're not giving the ball to Tony Bradley. So that was a huge thing to me that I saw in the game, because I kid you not, it's not to say that Thomas Bryant is some crazy defender again. But once you put Thomas Bryant in the game, and he's already been effective in a couple games this series, you have to play that team different.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you see the OKC Thunder literally
Freeway.
slashing the Pacers to death to the rim, bro. I'm talking about J-Dub had 40, and a lot of those points was him just slashing to the rim.
I watched the highlights. Half was at the rim.
There was no resistance. There was no thought to saying, hey, if I miss this, they're gonna do something in transition. So I might have to really take care of this possession. It was none of that. So the Pacers, the one thing that I would say is Rick Carlisle absolutely has to get back to Thomas Bryant. I don't give a damn how many points Chet gets. I don't care what Isaiah Hartenstein does. You got to go back to Thomas Bryant, which is crazy to say right now. But you got to go back to Thomas Bryant so that you can have the same potency in offense that you can have, especially in dire situations where the ball is just not going in the hoop.
Right.
I mean, Andrew Nembhard was turning the ball over left and right.
Yep.
Holly was injured. He couldn't really get any lift on his shot like that.
No.
They was just blitzing him all day long whenever he got the ball. They was absolutely icing those screens. And then when Andrew Nembhard came, they was just putting a bigger body on him.
Yep.
Whether it was Lou Dort on him. I mean, you didn't really get to see too many matchups with Andrew Nembhard and, like, say, like an Andrew Wiggins. You know what I'm saying? Where Andrew Wiggins usually get cooked.
Aaron Wiggins.
He could shoot and everything. I mean, Aaron Wiggins. I'm tripping. Aaron Wiggins, you would usually get cooked, but he was sniping.
Yeah. Shooting shit up.
You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. I don't know why Rick Carlisle decided to go that route and stay like that. Andrew Nembhard just needs to be better as well.
That's a fact. That
Point
fourth quarter,
blank,
he could have easily bought him, but he missed a ton of open looks.
Man, the whole game, he was at the very least protect the ball.
Yeah.
At the very least protect the ball, man. Like, he was turning the ball over in crucial moments. OKC was converting on those turnovers. You just got to be better, man. Like, Andrew Nembhard is a point guard. He is absolutely a point guard. He's just playing the two, but he is a point guard. Been a point guard for as long as I've been watching him. I saw him in Gonzaga when he was playing.
So do you keep T.J. McConnell as your sixth man and bring Mathurin off the bench?
Yeah, you can.
Start Mathurin, I should say.
You can.
Okay.
You absolutely, it can work. Like, Nembhard can lead that offense.
Okay.
It's just that you got to protect the ball at the very least, man.
Yeah,
This is the finals we talking about.
Against,
you know what I mean?
Historically one of the greatest defenses of all time. So
you see what I'm saying? Like, you got to protect the ball at the very least. We know that Indy thrives on ball movement.
Yep.
We know Indy has an iron heart and iron mind.
Right.
But please, just at least value your possessions. That's what the finals is about. Getting possessions and valuing them every second of the game.
Man, I would love
let's move on to let's move on to real talk, man.
Yes, sir.
Gotta talk about your Heat, man. Kevin Durant on his way to the Miami Heat. What you thinking? What you talking? How you feeling?
You know, been a minute since I been excited about the Heat. You know, you see how I just lit up talking about the Heat. When have you ever seen me light up talking about the Heat since we done the pod? We're 73 episodes in. When have you ever seen me light up when talking about the Heat? Twice? If I had to take an over and under, I can guarantee it's under 5 times. I've been called Negative Nancy. I've been called this and that. I'll be angry about the Heat. I'm passionate, though. Very passionate. You know, we get KD able to keep Khalil Ware and keep Davion Mitchell. We might got something there. You see the hat? Yeah, you see the hat? Hey, I pulled up to the Side Center in person. Yeah. Cam can tell you I pulled up in person. It's a mile away from my job. I just looked, you know. A parade will look so good in my city, you know, outside of the Florida. I'm just, it's very tough for me to actually be upset. You know what I mean? Pat, get it done. You see how happy I just got? Pat, get it done. Don't sell me. Don't play me, please. I ain't been this happy since God knows how long. Get it done. Keep Davion Mitchell. Please keep Khalil Ware. At this point, I don't want to lose Khalil Ware, but if I have to, screw it. Get KD in that Heat jersey, man. Get KD in that Heat jersey. And I'll be a happy camper. For the first time in God knows how long, get Rozier off my team. I don't care. Load up the Duolingo. You're out of here, pal. I don't care where you hoop. Get him out of there. Keep Davion Mitchell. Keep Khalil Ware. Get KD on the team. I'm about to talk crazy. Yeah, I'm about to talk Heat gear every pod crazy. Stop. Don't do this. Because if y'all do this, I'm on everybody's skull. I'm talking crazy. The East too? Injured Tatum? Injured Damian Lillard? Philly got Paul George, so you know they're going to be irrelevant? Yeah, he called it straight. I don't care. We going to be cooking. Yeah, get KD over here. That's all I got to say. I ain't going to keep it too long. Get to the finals, you know. We got the opportunity to get there. I think, you know, I ain't going to speak too much on it. But don't play with my emotions, Pat. I'm happy now. I want to stay happy. But I can get very angry if this doesn't happen. Get it done. And that's all I got to say.
You know, Real Talk is so great. It's such a great segment because if anybody noticed, you know, I usually stay quiet during Real Talk so Rilla can get his shit off, you know what I'm saying? So when he gets into one of these modes, you know what I mean? This is when you know he's loading up for something crazy. And I'm just here to just enjoy it, man. I'm just back here just enjoying it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just enjoying it. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Like, comment, and subscribe, and follow us on social media at @MediaDen_ and at Young Rilla. Keep it locked, and more importantly, keep it real. We'll be back next time. Peace.
Yes, sir.